let's talk about the new Avengers. So we're going to talk about in this just the new Avengers themselves and the connection to Doomsday because, hey, it connects to Doomsday. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, the Thunderbolts at the end of the film are revealed to be the new
Okay.
Avengers, and Marvel's wasted no time
Yes.
spoiling this for everybody.
Yes.
What
I
do we
didn't.
call this movie, just quickly? Is it Thunderbolts, the new Avengers?
No, it's just the new Avengers at this point.
Yeah.
But is it?
I mean, well,
Like, is
that's
there
what
any
that's what they're
chance
saying
that they dropped like the
because
Blu-ray or whatever?
because
and
at
have
the
new
at the time when they
Avengers?
revealed what they why the asterisk was there and what it revealed to be the new Avengers, I didn't see the movie yet. And it's like, and it's in I know the area too, and I was like, wait, what? And then I look online and it's surprise, surprise, they're the new Avengers. I was like, okay, and then after I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, so this is what they're doing. But it's okay. With that, one funny note is that Marvel Comics is doing the same thing where
Yeah.
they just announced that they had the Thunderbolts asterisk comic, and now I think it's issue 2 or issue 3. They revealed that they are the new Avengers now. So,
And that lineup is crazy for that comic. God damn.
yeah,
Is it
And
Carnage there?
I think so.
Yeah,
and,
can I just say, yeah.
it's
Eddie
Eddie
Brock
Brockett.
Carnage, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's Carnage. Yeah.
Which makes it even weirder. Just like,
Well, in his mindscape, the Carnage symbiote is like in a tuxedo with a hat and stuff. So
who's writing that book?
can't remember the top of my head because I just seen like some synopsis about what is going on. It's wild.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just surprising that this is the way that they're going about the new Avengers because people thought there'd be something different.
I get it. Like, I really do get it. And we saw the box office result from Monday to Tuesday, the highest Tuesday ever following a Marvel film, right after they revealed the title change. And I legit saw a couple people that were like, MCU bad since Endgame. They were like, oh, now I want to see this film. I'm like, of course you do, because it has Avengers in the title. Of course you do, you know?
They knew what they were doing.
I think it's brilliant. I mean, obviously, seeing the film get spoiled for people who didn't get a chance to see it is unfortunate. However, the marketing for this movie has been buck wild and great. I'm not surprised that the moment they were finally able to play about the asterisk card, the moment they could, because I think it then incentivizes audiences who were still skeptical, despite really good word of mouth, to then go, oh, by the way, this is actually an Avengers movie. Go. And I think it was brilliant. I think that, this is, I didn't see people like, oh, like they're spoiling it for the people who haven't seen it. I think they are spoiling it to get the people there to see it.
Probably.
This is like this is the last like big trump card they had up their sleeve, is to go, this is actually secretly an Avengers movie, and look at all the good word of mouth and how stacked the cast is. And on that level, I do think it is brilliant to reveal it now. They've also been able to lean into it, with like the Avengers social media app adding like the copyright emoji to their names. I think they're playing this very, very, very cleverly. And again, I hate to see people get spoiled. I remember, back when Infinity War and Endgame and even like the Star Wars sequels, there was like always like the social media, the official social media for those franchises, and a bunch of the actors would share the hey, no spoilers things, because it's like, we all know the insane thing that you all want to talk about by the time you get out, but please keep it to yourself and give it a few days before we start openly talking about this.
Right.
And, I understand Marvel wanting to kind of cast the gauntlet here, no pun intended, with fans who have been skeptical and go, oh, you still think Thunderbolts is going to suck? It's the new Avengers now. Go see it.
Right.
So I am surprised, but I think they are doing. I think they're playing the strategy very cleverly.
I think that they've realized, because like I noticed, and I don't follow anything comic book on any of my feeds. There's nothing comic book. I like different stuff when I'm not into this, right? And I noticed, because one of my friends sent me. He was like, "Dude, can you believe this? It was the Tuesday before the film opened up in the United States. So again, this is 3 days before the film opened up officially in the US. YouTubers now are like, I would at least put the spoiler warning on there. I just saw the thumbnail that he sent me, which was the end credit scene that says the new Avengers. That was the thumbnail of the video. And I was like, I think all etiquette around spoilers is now thrown out the window to the maximum degree. And people aren't even like mad about it anymore, like the giant spoilers. I'm like, it's just like, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you would have to be careful. Now it's just like out in the open. Everybody's like,
I think
I don't know.
specifically for this movie, I think people don't mind it as much because now it's an Avengers movie. It's not some throwaway Thunderbolts movie because it has Avengers plastered on it. So we'll give it a pass on this one.
Yeah,
I find this whole conversation really interesting because I don't know if I consider the name change a spoiler or not. I really don't know. I know it's a plot point at the end of the movie, but if they just called this movie The New Avengers in the first place, obviously it's not a spoiler or anything, and they just carried like nothing has changed in the movie. They just called it that. Is it still a spoiler? That's The New Avengers.
Right.
I think that calling this movie The New Avengers from the outset would have hurt the film. I think that going in there was such an uproar. I was part of it about these are MCU Thunderbolts and this lineup is out of its goddamn mind. That and even Yelena makes a joke. We all punch and shoot. There's only, aside from people who have like super soldier serum, enhanced strength and agility, that is superhuman, there is only one person on this team with like superpowers. Not just like heightened strength and speed and stuff, but like Ghost is the only powered person beyond just I can lift heavy things and I'm faster than like the average elite athlete. And so I think going and calling this the New Avengers, people go, "What are you talking about? Red Guardian, U.S. Agent, Ghost, there are Avengers now." I think people would have scoffed at it. And I think it is interesting because we everybody went in going, that asterisk is going to reveal a subtitle and it's going to be either Dark or New Avengers.
Yeah.
It was something we all kind of intellectually knew. And even finding out that it's called the New Avengers does not give away its circumstance of how it becomes that.
Right.
So I don't think you're entirely wrong, Mitch, to question it being considered a spoiler, because if you, for all we know, for somebody who hasn't seen the film and we find out, the movie's actually called The New Avengers, that we would go, maybe they just decide to call themselves that. It does not come with the context that by the end of the movie, they are the state-sanctioned New Avengers, in an official capacity.
That's the thing I want to bring up because, again, I see the people with a mixture. I see the film with a mixture of people that are in the know and that are not in the know. And when the film was over, I was just hearing people talk as they exited and a couple of the conversations that were going on. And one person who's at every single premiere was like, "So if they're the New Avengers, are they making a new Avengers film?" And somebody, like his friend was like, "Yeah, they're making Avengers Doomsday." He was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh boy." So I think they kind of like, I think for the normies, and this is not an insult, I think they knew what they were doing. And there was definitely a marketing tactic behind Thunderbolts that they knew. And like bringing the conversation then to Doomsday, it automatically makes you question, because I heard it a couple times. People were like, "So there's going to be a new Avengers film," because they said they're returning, right? I'm like, okay, so I think they understood the mission of how to sell it just enough to get people excited, because when that Doomsday trailer drops, we know Doomsday exists. Most of the people that saw this film do not. They're going to be blown away, so I think that this was a correct call, and that, post-credit scene leading into Doomsday, or a part of Doomsday, now that we know, because the Russo brothers directed it. It was the first thing they directed. Yeah, it was all intentional. Like, it feels like, and again, as somebody who's loved many elements of Phase 4 and 5, it feels like Marvel is on the right trajectory again. they know what they're doing again. So I hope.
Which is funny because this movie is basically just Avengers 1.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, and I love a lot of those parallels. If I may, for a moment, contradict the on the right track of it all, because I think this movie's great. I think it's great. We had our conversation on Nerd Academy about it. I thought it was wonderful. Go check that out. This post-credit scene puts me on so on edge, and I don't want my like weird feelings about the post-credit scene to overshadow how great I think the film as a whole is. Mm-hmm. I think it is remarkably good. I think that they utilize these characters and their backgrounds just beautifully. I think the movie's great. The post-credit scene has left me with a lot of mixed emotions because there is no room to tell a story about the new Avengers in any way, shape, or form before we arrive at Doomsday. Yep. And I love this idea that there's kind of a schism now between Sam and Bucky. I love the idea that the moment Sam finally felt like he was ready to establish a new Avengers team, that Bucky got the new Avengers dropped into his lap, and that has caused static between them. Mm-hmm. You know, and where Sam was probably getting ready to build a team that would have consisted of Hulk and Strange or Wong and Captain Marvel and maybe Spider-Man and like all of these traditional heroes. Sam has to look at Bucky and he's like, oh, cool. You're running with Steve's pretender to the throne, a bunch of super criminals.
Yep.
You know, like, what the hell, bro?
And also, wait, why are you in our home?
Yeah, and why are you back in Avengers Tower? Like,
yeah.
like you didn't go here. You didn't go here like we did. And that is all such a compelling, you know, conversation to be had. You know, I think that there is a very fascinating, and it's not exactly my place to speak on it because I don't have the lived experience, but I think there's also a really beautiful meta commentary there about how, you know, look at how much flack Sam Wilson has caught in the real world and within the text of being the Black Captain America, and everybody at every step of the way diminishing his inheritance of the role, his capacity to fill that role, left, right, and center. And his like, oh yeah, like it's Thunderbolt Ross going, yeah, I want you to rebuild the Avengers, but I'm really going to be doing it because I don't trust you to do it because you're not Steve Rogers. And how much of a macro aggression the way he says that is. But Bucky Barnes, the guy who killed John Fitzgerald Kennedy, was like, oh yeah, he's totally the leader of the new Avengers. And how I think Sam has a lot of resentment. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff here.
Oh yeah.
We don't have time for that. We do not have time for that in Doomsday. And it makes me really upset. I wish we could get more of that. But in the meantime, we have to get through however Doctor Doom comes into, you know, Robert Downey Jr. comes into play. We gotta do the X-Men, we gotta do the Four, we gotta do whatever the other Avengers are gonna be in play.
Yeah,
like
it's very interesting. It is interesting because, like, for the most part for Doomsday, you're gonna be after Fantastic Four, you're still gonna be centering on them during Doomsday for the most part.
Yeah.
Aside from the new Avengers, so
I don't know if we are anymore after this movie. I don't think the Four's the focal point after Doctor Doom for Doomsday.
I think the Four are going to serve a similar function as the Guardians did in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. They're a core part of the story, but they are the B plot.
Right.
And again, because this is me kind of getting like preemptively concerned, for lack of a better term, where I'm looking at this and going, okay, so the Russos are back. I can't remember if it's Marcus or McFeely who's back. Whichever one of those two is back. I want to say
it's McFeely, but
I think you're right, but I don't remember. But we have half of that writing team back, and the director's back, and it's their first Avengers movie where we know the bad guy is going to win, and it's setting up a part 2 that's going to be the big culmination of the entire saga. And oh, will you look at that? The Avengers are on divided lines coming into the beginning
again.
Of the film.
Yep.
And I'm like, and again, as somebody who is a hardliner of people who say that The Force Awakens is just a New Hope, I think are dramatically oversimplifying the movie. You know, it follows similar beats, but that's the hero's journey, and we don't have time for that conversation. But like, I can't look at this and not go, "Oh, this feels a little samey." Now, it might be samey intentionally. Sam and Bucky realizing we're too busy having a pissing contest over who gets to be the leader of the new Avengers, and we're making the mistakes that Tony and Steve made. That might be part of the equation here.
I was going to say, that's the exact thing I felt from this. I was like, I feel like that they're trying to show that the Avengers, as much as they've grown and individual characters, they're still having petty squabbles. And again, for the purposes of the film, if the film starts and we have one team of Avengers and they're all together, then how does Doom win if they're all on the same page? They don't. Hence Infinity War and Endgame. So again, we're doing the same thing, but now, like you said, we have the Fantastic Four, we got X-Men. So now we got so many different, factors going to this that you can see the cohesion is not there between any of them, which again, I think it's fine. So yeah, hey, we don't have a long time to go. Next time this year, we'll be talking about what happens in Doomsday, which is insane, So,
man.
It's
Lord,
kind of wild.
Yeah, how does Doomsday follow up Kang Dynasty? That's crazy. Yeah.
I know.
I take it we all saw that movie, right?
10 out of 10. It's why Ricardo's not here. He ascended.
Oh, yeah.
He did. Yeah.
After his love for Quantumania, he couldn't handle anymore.
I still stand by he was too hard in that movie. Yeah.
I remember when he saw that, our entire chat was just about 100 posts of Ricardo unleashing. I was like, oh, he liked that movie, huh?
He was not a happy bunny, that boy.
So, look, everybody, we'll be back to more New Avengers and Doomsday. Stay tuned if you're a member of the channel. We will be offering up a giant spoiler cast. We're going to go into specific spoilers, so stay tuned for that. This was just a little taste of New Avengers and Doomsday.